اجلس يا صديقي، اجلس. يا الله، أنا نعسان جدا جدا. خبز رخيص، خبز رخيص. السلام عليكم. وعليكم السلام. ماذا تحتاج يا أخي؟ هل عندك خبز؟ نعم، 5 درهم من كل واحد. هنا. شكرا لك يا أخي. عندي فلوس قليل. خبز رخيص، عندي خبز رخيص قليل. Hey people, welcome to Mountain Blade, Steel and Flesh 2. Yes, there's no correlation between Mountain Blade 2 and Steel and Flesh 2, totally nothing, absolutely no correlation. Since I need a video idea, we will use this as a video idea. We're going to be starting now in the lands of Arabia, but before that we have to create our character. And also when you're selecting difficulty, for whatever the reason, simply pick very low. The higher the difficulty simply means more chores to do, such as food, stamina. So choose the simplest one, very easy. I decided to name my character Abdul Karim, made the player state name Arabia, even though we're not going to exactly be arriving in Arabia exactly. You can choose in which country you arrive in. It can reach anywhere from the Middle East to the Russians to the Polish to even the Norwegians, the Byzantine and the Empire of Song. Literally all corners of the world. You can also be a rebel if you want, but spawning points won't have an effect on your gameplay. After that you need to choose your profession, aka your starting gear. I simply chose the poor man perk since I want to actually challenge myself. I finished the game once before. After that, the skill tree. Skill tree might be a bit confusing at the beginning, but you'll get used to it. Trust me, it took me a while to get used to this big skill tree. Now after allocating your points like I did right here, you can start the game. After finishing that, you get spawned in randomly at the country you chose. I spawned in Anatolia, somewhere in the Sultanate of Rome. Now after this, you have to go to the barber to actually get a clean cut. I'll show you after a few seconds what I look like after a haircut. This is before and here's after. As you can see, the barber committed an absolute war crime on my head, violating several Geneva Convention laws and probably ending up as a war criminal. Okay, now that we are sufficiently dripped out, now we can actually start playing the game for real this time. The first thing you should do at the beginning, if you know what you're doing, is run to a nearby lord, find one, speak to them and ask them where their lord is. In this case, it's a sultan. In this case, I was promptly told to go to Orstad, which is up here, if you can see, and this is also a good time to look at the map, where you are, where you're located, what is around you, and what continents look like here. Japan seems to be a bit overskilled, if I may say so myself. Mongolia seems to be a bit too deep in China, and Russia seems to have a big river running all the way from the top and into Mongolia. A bit weird, but I won't complain. Running to the city, I located the Sultan hiding inside, and promptly started chasing him down as I saw him running away from Rishtar to siege another city from what I can see from far. And yes, they were planning to siege another one if you're wondering. They are currently at war with the Byzantines and the Holy Roman Empire. And we're actually gathering to siege a port city that was in the Black Sea from what I can tell at least. The second he stopped moving, I asked him, "Yo bro, can I join your army?" After introducing myself, that is. And he said, "You really want that?" And I was like, "Yes." Now I was part of the Sultanate of Rome. Yes, Rome, not the one from, Pirates of the Caribbean. I joined the siege, but the second I joined, he sent me off to another port to defend it. But the simple thing was, I did not care about the country. I was in here for the money and the experience. So here's one of the tactics that I use here. Baiting. The baiting tactic consists of actually making the enemy follow you since you're only one person, and the second they follow you, go to a bigger group and attack them at once, like in Mountain Blade 2. So as you can see from the top, we literally outnumbered them 3-1. What followed this was an absolute manslaughter from what I can see. Literally the slaughterhouse. Butchers will be happy for this day, to be honest. They may be even celebrating it. Since I chose the poor man trait at the beginning, all I have is actually just a wooden stick. I'm not even gonna lie to you, I couldn't hit a single person. They were all mounted men. Literally. Luckily nothing hit me. As far as I can see, the enemy was being handled by the 3-1 ratio. I caught this Germanic soldier off guard and started beating him to death. But before I could, he was blown to bits. So after the battle, this was what the winning screen looked like. We only lost 9 men while we killed 61 men and injured 89 others. Yeah, that should classify as a manslaughter. I'm not even gonna lie to that much. As for the rewards, I only got 1500 gold. but I'm not gonna complain. I didn't do anything, so I'm not gonna get much of anything. After a couple of skirmishes, we actually took the city properly this time, because we kept on getting interrupted by the Holy Roman Empire attacking us. Like Mount Oberon 2, after the siege, you can choose to simply auto-battle it, which may or may not cost more men, but simply save time. It takes a lot of time just to siege one city. After the siege, with what money I had, I went into the port and recruited all the people I could. Some of them require for you to have a higher level than them so that you can recruit them, otherwise they may not follow you. And got myself a proper weapon, which is a javelin, the most, literally from what I know, the highest dealing damage in the range weapons category, that is. Crossbows are slow, arrows and normal bows are kind of inaccurate, javelins are short-ranged but deal a lot of damage. Siege weapons is what you need to siege a city. Unlike in Bannerlord, you can just siege a city without any, siege weapons. You can also buy armors, but they are expensive, so don't. Also, like Bannerlord, you can upgrade your troops after they have gained experience from battles. You can make them mounted, maybe archers. Those are recruits if you're wondering. The recruits you can choose from the beginning, but if you chose a fencer right off the bat, you can only follow a certain path. And just like Bannerlord, the money you earn will be earned mostly from things you're going to sell, the spoils of war, as you can see. And also at this point I decided to cover the war crime that was committed on my head by the barbar earlier in the video. After which I found two lords fighting each other and I decided to simply wait them out. The survivor is going to be my new prey, which ended up being the Germanic tribe one, aka the Holy Roman one. So I simply walked up, asked him, "You're going to die today," and, committed an absolute war crime. Or at least tried to. It actually ended up being a bad decision, because the beginning of the battle was going well. I even managed to hit a moving man in the head and leveled up right on the spot, right then and there. But after that, I took an arrow to the head and absolutely got decimated. And after that, it was over. They started massacring the men like they were literally ants. And after that, I decided to simply retreat, since it was much simpler to simply lose some men rather than have to restart all over again. After this, I kept on using the baiting tactic by going to the Byzantines and started baiting them out to villages so that I can beat them up and get loot, which I can sell later on for money. And for all the smooth brains, here's some gameplay. There's the gameplay, and no, this is not the end of the video, don't click off yet. After taking the village, I had enough spoils to finally be able to siege cities, which means finally it's time to buy a siege weapon. And once again, like Bannerlord, you can hire companions by going to the tavern and asking around if there's someone from the champions, or maybe a traveler. The traveler knows all the locations of heroes. You can ask him here in the tavern. I managed to locate him on my first try. He's the one with the stick in the back right here. I asked her around, and the closest companion that there was here was in the Sultanate of Rome. So before I leave, I decided to recruit him. Locating companions inside of taverns is not that hard. It's actually very easy. They stick out like a sore thumb if I may say so myself. Although they ask for a large sum of money, which is something close to like 5,000, 6,000. If you're lucky, they may even give you like 4,000. And every other week you have to give them 500 dirhams. Or gold. After this, it was time to leave the faction. Now, there's a little funny quirk that this mechanic has. Upon leaving the faction, you will be branded as a traitor, which will result in the sultan you were working for declaring war on you. And that will not change no matter how much you have respect, maybe fame. Now here's where our journey really begins. Here's where you can actually start conquering for yourself. I started with the Sultan himself. Before you leave, make sure you have more men than him. After that, the first thing I did was siege the nearest port, which had the least men. I took it as easily as it was, well, taken over. It has the least men. This is the best place to start, Anatolia. Castles are very lightly defended here, so you can literally just walk in and take them. After this, I started going on a rampage all over Anatolia, taking city after city. But this had resulted us being declared war on by the Russians. But that didn't stop me. I kept on sieging and sieging. After taking Kars, I went to Italis and started sieging the central parts of Anatolia. After that, I decided to take a gamble and decided to siege their main city, which is Konya, central of Anatolia. And it wasn't even close, it was literally a manslaughter. I outnumbered them 5-1. Here's another funny quirk. The people that own the city will join you if they were outside of the city, because of apparently you will be massacring the people inside the city if they do not join your side. After the Sultan joined my side, everything there from onward was simply a cakewalk. I pushed out of Anatolia into Arabia. After this, there was only one big push left. Somewhere during the conquering of the Sultanate of Rome, the Ayyubids thought it was funny to declare war on me alongside the Byzantines, but all along I was aiming for Jerusalem. Here comes the siege of Jerusalem. We're not exactly following the historical accuracy part. This takes after the siege of Aleppo. This game there is no Aleppo, so we're just going to go straight to Jerusalem, not even minding Dimashq or Damascus in English. After taking Jerusalem, I decided to make the smart decision to declare myself the victor by leaving before I get pounded by the Romans. If you liked this video, please comment, like, subscribe and comment E. If this garners enough support, I will actually continue the series. Thank you and see you next time.